and welcome to the Movies Past and Present podcast. It's October 15th, 2020, and this is episode 55. I'm your host, Stanford Clark, and I'm podcasting from the crossroads of the West in beautiful Salt Lake City, Utah. Just like my blog, moviespastandpresent.com, I'll be providing recommendations, commentary, and reviews about current and classic cinema. Thanks for tuning in, and let's do this thing. New in theaters this week is a film from Briarcliff Entertainment, which, no, I've never heard of this studio, but it's called Honest Thief. It's an action thriller starring Liam Neeson, and it appears that he's playing the same role that he's been playing now for quite a while, which is a dude that's been done wrong and then goes off on a revenge kick. Wanting to live an honest life, a notorious bank robber, who is played by Liam Neeson in this film, turns himself in only to be double-crossed by two ruthless FBI agents. And let me tell you, by seeing the preview, those two ruthless FBI agents are going to rue the day that they double-crossed Liam Neeson, because he's going to come after them. So this film is rated PG-13 by the Motion Picture Association for strong violence, crude references, and brief, strong language. I have seen this advertised that it's playing in IMAX theaters, which is, I guess, not necessarily surprising since there's nothing else lined up to play in the IMAX theater right now. So you can go check out Honest Thief in theaters. Of more interest to me are the quote-unquote comeback classics that are in theaters right now. This weekend, Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas is going to be returning to theaters. This is the film from 1993 that's stop motion animation. It's got Jack Skellington and Sally and all those other characters. I think that would be fun to see on the big screen again. So check your local listings, but there are options still playing in theaters. Coco is in theaters. I went and saw Coco on the big screen, and that's the film from Pixar. And again, was just absolutely wowed by that stunning animation, and it was just so fun to see that safely on the big screen. That's another big shout out to Cinemark Theaters for the clean and safe experience. But yeah, check your local listings and see if there's one of these comeback classics that are of interest to you, or there is Honest Thief. So I'm starting a new, feature here on the podcast. I'm calling it 3 by. So 3 and then BY, by, which represents just 3 films that I'm going to pick that are from a single director. And so they're 3 representative films, perhaps of different types of eras or genres that these different directors explored, and I thought it just might give you some ideas about a director that either that you're already familiar with, or maybe you wanted to brush up on some of the films that these directors have made, and just provide some interesting films to watch, both old favorites and maybe some new favorites too. So this month it's 3 films by the director Carl Reiner. Now, Carl Reiner, as you probably recall, he passed away this summer. He was 98 years old, and really working up as much as he could up until the end, and good for him. So he was I guess in his own way a triple threat, not as the traditional one of the singing, dancing, acting, but acting, writing, and directing. So a lot of the stuff that he did was really behind the scenes. He got his start in TV. He was on the television variety show Your Show of Shows, which was headlined by the comedian Sid Caesar. And then in the 1960s, he created the Dick Van Dyke Show, which many consider as just one of the best TV comedies ever made. And then he was also, I don't know if you've ever seen his shtick that he did with Mel Brooks called The 2,000-Year-Old Man, where Carl Reiner plays the straight man. Mel Brooks plays this man who supposedly has lived for 2,000 years. And so he asked Carl Reiner asked the questions of the 2,000-year-old man, and they created some successful comedy albums together, and then they did the talk show circuit and whatnot. It's pretty funny if you want to check it out on YouTube. And then he was also just a good actor. He had a memorable role in The Russians Are Coming. The Russians Are Coming. He played in those Ocean 11 films in the sequels. Those newer versions of Ocean's 11 done by Steven Soderbergh. So anyway, he did a lot of interesting stuff, and he was a good comedy director. And so I watched 3 of his comedy films from 3 different decades. And where I saw these, I had recorded them off of Turner Classic Movies, because they often, when someone notable from the film industry passes away, they'll do a tribute day. So they showed 6 films on TCM. I recorded them on my DVR, and I ended up watching just these 3 that I thought might be interesting from 3 different decades. 2 of them I had never seen before. And so let's just dive into these films. So the first one I want to talk about is actually the first film that Carl Reiner directed. It's called Enter Laughing. It was released in 1967. And this actually is based on a play that Carl Reiner had written, and it's autobiographical. It's about how his start, getting a start in acting, and of course, exaggerated for comedic effect. But it stars it has actually a really great cast. It's got Jose Ferrer and Shelley Winters, Elaine May, Jack Gifford, and the actor that's playing the Carl Reiner character is Rennie Santoni, and it's just about this story about this guy played by Rennie he's living with his parents. His parents want him to go basically to pharmacy school, but he wants to act. And so he's kind of living this crazy double life. He's got a girlfriend too, and he ends up being part of this acting troupe that's run by Jose Ferrer, and his daughter is played by Elaine May. And it's pretty horrible live theater. And in fact, they make the actors pay them to be part of it. So it's also kind of a scam, I think, too. But this film, it's the actors are all good. It's charming. Shelley Winters plays the mother. Anyway, everybody's really good in it. I thought that the first 2/3, or the first 2 acts were really kind of slow as building up, but finally Act 3 just lets it all loose when they actually show, the play. This live theater that they've been working on, and it's so hilariously bad, and so much stuff it just goes haywire. So kind of screwball comedy in a way in that third act. It took a while to get there, so I can't say that I just absolutely loved this film, but it was interesting to see the work, knowing that it was Carl Reiner's first film that he directed. I enjoyed seeing these actors. The act 3 is great, but the leading up to it is a bit slow. So anyway, that was from 1967. The film I picked from the 70s, that again was shown on Turner Classic Movies, is the film Oh God, and it's from 1977, and this is a really so this film this was written by Larry Gelbart, and he is, I think, just an absolutely terrific screenwriter. He's responsible for the MASH television series, and among many other projects, he was a very prolific writer. But he wrote this really thought-provoking screenplay that Carl Reiner directed. But what happens is God, who comes to Earth in the form of comedian George Burns. I don't know if you remember George Burns, but he was just this wisecracking, cigar-smoking vaudeville performer who lived a long time, and anyway, he was, I don't know exactly what age he was when he made this film, but it was up there. But he appears to this grocery manager who's played by, of all people, John Denver, the country singer, and he wants John Denver basically to send a message to the world, and it's as I saw this when I was young, and I think there was some controversy about it. I'm sure there was, in that it was blasphemous in some way, and that could be. I can understand the criticism about it. I found it to be charming and thought-provoking. George Burns is saying that God appears to people in a way that they can comprehend and that works for them, and that's why he appears to the John Denver character as this old man. But the message about that God exists and he cares about the people on earth, and that they need to be better, need to treat people, they need to treat each other better, really is the message here. That's the message that he gives to John Denver, the John Denver character, and that John Denver has to try to, the character has to try to convey. It's a good one and it's a meaningful one. Being a person of faith myself, I didn't find it offensive. I found it more an interesting interpretation of how we can apply the teachings of Jesus Christ. So, but wrapped around in a Hollywood comedy, so go figure. But I thought it was expertly directed. The performances were good, as I mentioned. John Denver and George Burns are great. Terry Garr's in it. She plays John Denver's wife. Ralph Bellamy is in it. William Daniels, Barnard Hughes, Paul Sorvino has got a pretty good role as kind of an evil televangelist type person. But I would highly recommend Oh God. I think that's something if you're interested in it. It was a solid comedy and very thought provoking. All right, so the final of these 3x series for Carl Reiner is his comedy from 1984 called All of Me. Now this is with Steve Martin and Lily Tomlin, Carl Reiner made some great movies with Steve Martin. In fact, I think one of Carl Reiner's most famous movies that he made with Steve Martin is The Jerk. And I don't know if you've ever seen that movie. I think it's weird and wonderful. They didn't show that on TCM, although I've seen it previously. But this is a movie I'd never seen before. So, and shame on me because it's really funny. So, Steve Martin plays an attorney who is not happy in his work, yet he's still trying to become a partner at this law firm that he's working at, and so when he expresses that to his boss at the law firm, or I guess the head partner, the partner gives him this job to go work with this dying heiress who might need some help finalizing her papers before she passes away. Turns out that this dying heiress is Lily Tomlin, and things are pretty crazy at Lily Tomlin's house. She's been working with this guru who is planning, when she dies, what she wants to do is transplant her spirit into another woman who is like the daughter of one of the people who work at her house. And so there's this very elaborate thing they've got set up, and a bit of a spoiler alert, it goes awry when Lily Tomlin dies. Her spirit actually enters into the Steve Martin character's body, but only takes over half of it. So half of his body is Lily Tomlin's character, and the other half of it is himself. So again, pretty crazy comedy, pretty high concept, but it really shows off Steve Martin's physical comedy skills, because there's some scenes when he's fighting with the Lily Tomlin character, just even the moving of his body, and it's really funny. So there's a lot going on with this plot. Actually, I think the plot is fun. It also stars Victoria Tennant, and just a great physical comedy, and then just great comedic acting, both from Steve Martin and from Lily Tomlin. And they both are absolutely terrific. So probably out of these three, my favorite was All of Me, but again, I thought Oh God was very charming, and if you can deal with kind of a slow Act 1 and 2, Act 3, the Act 3 payoff in Enter Laughing is a really good one. Well, that does it for this episode of the Movies Past and Present podcast. Again, links and more information about the movies discussed in today's podcast can be found in the podcast notes on my blog at moviespastandpresent.com. You can also subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Stitcher. Links are also on the blog. Also, please follow me on Instagram. I'm at moviespap, as in past and present. As always, I hope you'll enjoy some good movies this week, whether they be from the past or the present. Be safe out there, and thanks for listening.